Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Kevin Dreen, and tonight we have transformations, as always, every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Coming in loud and clear. Hopefully it is coming in good for you. Let me know if it is. Give a thumbs up. Say something in the comments, and we'll keep on going. And with that being said, welcome. It is an amazing day. Today is December 21st, 7 o'clock. Every Monday night we go live. However, today is, as you probably have heard, a special astrological cosmic alignment, and of course has it's quite profound. And the reason I say this is well, we've been talking about this for quite some time, and I'm quite excited that we've been talking about it. And before we get into it, we're going to be talking about the content that's in this book, and this is a free gift for you, free and downloadable. The link is in the description, drkevintransformations.com, and we're going to be talking about how internal and external forces affect our reality, affect your physical day-by-day life, affect how you are living inside your own body there. And let's take a look over here. Transformations. Today we are talking about this book right here, something that I wrote a couple years ago, and talks about the mind and the body and the connections and how to understand and interpret that internal language that we have within called pain. It's important. And so we're shifting concepts and beliefs around the topic of pain. And so this is my website, drkeving.com. Pardon the way it looked, must be the size of things, but we are live. So this is where you go, you get access, and this is where you can support yourself and support the channel all in one shot. And that's by getting access to the book. You can take access and get access to the latest in quantum technology healing, AO scan, and by all means, if anyone is interested in that, reach out to me. There's a few special things with that. However, it is available and you can purchase it right now. By all means, this is taking power, putting it back in your hands. I'm really excited about it, and I'm encouraging people to investigate. If you're, like me, people are into quantum, people are into energy, frequency, vibration. Think Tesla, think Rife, think Einstein, and there's many other scientists, of course, that have talked about these concepts. And now there's technology you can put in your hands to help you personally. And then, of course, protect those eyes, get clean water in your life, get your mind right. And that, in fact, I built a whole company based on getting people's minds right, from both physical techniques, talk type techniques, and remote healing techniques. And that is all found here on drkeving.com. And I invite you to check this out. Learn the secret language of your body. Dive in, because the more people that are waking up and becoming conscious with themselves, the more it is having an effect on all of us as a collective, and that's the way it goes. And so this is it's been a fun 2020, hasn't it? Wrapping things up. People are excited for the end of 2020. However, it's just beginning, if I may offer. We have 2021 to handle, and it's the next shift. And we're talking about this tonight in the Winning Never Situation webinar. But tonight I'm going to be pulling up. We're going to go back to a year ago, just about a year ago, January. Excuse me. We want to go 2020 January. I already set it up, so I'll be smooth flowing with you guys. January 2020, and we're going to watch as planets basically tick like a clock, and we can set time in life to these events. This is how we found our holidays. This is how, our holidays are determined. And we're going to be going through this in, we'll say every second is going to be like 3 days. All right, it'll go through, and it's going to watch it for a few moments. Let's do 6 days, 7 days, a week, a second, okay? And you can see, here's Jupiter, here's Saturn, it's the top of your screen, Pluto, and what we're looking for is how Earth lines up in a straight line. You'll see it. I'll pause when it gets there, but look at the date ticking on the left. Look at the movement of the planets, and you're seeing it's like hands on a clock going in counterclockwise motion, the way we're looking at it right here. But as we get closer to now, you can see that certain things line up, certain things are moving, and these are important because that has a direct effect on our sun. It has a direct effect on the human mind and the human body. Think our weather, think the emotional weather, think physiology, and there is information and data for this. So here we are, closing on our time. Boom, we're here. We just passed it. There's Christmas. just after it happened. So let's back up. Let's back up a few days. Right here to oh, a little too fast. Now let's move forward. This is just 4 days ago. Saturday, Sunday, and then today it goes direct. I don't know that it's conjunction, right? That's the proper term, I believe. Let's get out of this view and I'll zoom in here a little bit. And we'll see that action. So here's Earth, how it lines up perfectly. Look, Earth, Saturn, Jupiter. Okay, there's a nice flow right there. And I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Where I learned this is this website, and how to look at this is David Palmer, the Leo King. And then there's a couple other people I like to watch. But there's other important alignments happening. Look at how Venus and Mercury are lining up. Look at Mars. Look at Earth. This is close. Let's look at Earth, where we are. Look at Earth, Mars, and this place called Eris. That's discovered a couple of years ago. From another point of view, we have Earth and Venus doing things. So it's not just, this is major because it starts off a big cycle of time. But it's not the be all and end all. Now, as big things are happening, of course. And that's important to understand. So these are what's called the internal forces and external forces conversation. So there's things outside of us that affect our body, our reality. In fact, turn on and turn off genes. That's called epigenetics. It's a study of how our environment impacts our physical health, our physical life. Let's turn epigenetics. You know, if you know, I had a fun time looking up stuff for tonight's live, and when I look at the term epigenetics, based on, you know, I was first turned on to this about 13 years ago, and basically some of the beginning steps of this groundbreaking research, Bruce Lipton on a genetic project, the Genome Project, mapping all the genome, basically discovered, among a number of other things that have been built upon systematic studies. Candace Pert back in the 70s and the 80s built some of the foundational understanding of this. And when you look up these definitions of these words, it's hard for the average person. I mean, I knew what I was looking for, and I had to basically try to dig it out to demonstrate what's going on here. But when we look at this definition of epigenetics, so genetics itself is, you know, everyone believes this is the blueprint of how our body and our mind and basically our life is created. But then we have the study, the science of epigenetics. And what is epi? It stands for outside of or above. So the things that are outside of or above that affect the gene. Now we look at this, the definition, the study of changes in an organism caused by modification of gene expression rather than alteration of the genetic code itself. So then we have to be clever enough to understand that what we have to look up, what is modification of gene expression? How does one modify gene expression? Changes in an organism, all right? So it's changes in an organism caused by gene expression. We have to look around at other parts of the definition, other places to get there. So here's epigenetics. Here's that literal definition. Modification of the DNA that turns on or off. Now, when you go to other parts of the definition, you get to a word right here, phenotype changes. Phenotype changes. So let's pop over to phenotype changes. What is phenotype changes? This is like class right here, right now. I apologize, a little heavier than anticipated, but hopefully you're getting some value of how these things from outside our body can affect our gene expression. So here we are, but the definition, searching for the definition and actually getting the grip on it is sometimes challenging. Essentially, we're looking at what factors in our environment turn genes on and off. And I have a picture for you. Let's just show that picture right now. People get this. See, when we shift our concepts and our perceptions, our precepts, not our perceptions, our precepts. This is what formulates our beliefs, expectations. And you can see the list there. But this, I'll take myself out of the way here. This screams 1,000 words, or 1,000,000 words perhaps. What we put in our body, what's around our body, makes an impact on the expression of our health. So we go back to the definition here. Variable environmental conditions rather than the constant environment. Okay, so basically what we're saying here is, hopefully what we're getting at here is our environment is changing, causing our genes to turn something on and turn something off about their expression, giving us our ability to respond and be resilient. And our body has a number of ways. So we have things like radiation, so physical factors, things along the light spectrum, chemical factors, antibiotics, toxins, pathogens, and there's biological factors, there's pathogens, mutagens, bacteriophages. I would imagine it'd include virus on that list. With that being said, when there's change in our environment, and this environment can be within, see, our emotions also respond, but this is the internal factor, and that's looking at how our perceptions affect our biology, our beliefs, and the emotions assigned to that. See, what we're doing here at Transformations is based on the book here, Decode Your Pain. How to make sense of your symptoms, start living your best life. See, there's a key here in the book supported by 40, 50 years of scientific evidence. The primary study of science I'll direct you to is psychoneuroimmunology. Also could be included psychoneuroendo, meaning the endocrine system, your glandular system, the endoimmunology. These components are all wired together and communicate all together. You are one unit. And what affects one area of your life affects another area. So your thoughts affect your immune system. Your immune system affects your endocrine system, your hormone system. Your hormone system can affect your thoughts and your mood and your emotions. And this is established and well known. However, maybe not well known. Definitely established. It's up to you to begin to rewire yourself. And so what's been happening, the reason, the study of the planets, and I'm going to bring this all together here, hopefully in a few minutes. The reason this is important with the planets, how it ties into what's going on here is, it's like music. In fact, there's a composer, and he's since long gone, composer that wrote music based on the planets. And actually, I believe I have his vinyl here. I wish I could pull it up right now, but I can't. I don't have that. I just don't have that knowledge in my brain. However, this composer wrote music based on meditating on each of the planets, and each of them has a sound and a frequency. And I would venture to say, again, I don't have that right in front of me, that people who are into sound and acoustics and listening to different tones wouldn't be able to tell us about how each planetary body has this frequencies, these vibrations, these oscillations. This is what it's all based on. In fact, everything in life has these changes. I'm doing too many things at once. I apologize. Got windows flashing. And so the point being, when these planets do different things, it's like a certain musical sound going on. And think about music in your life. We have a song you haven't heard in 30 years, but the moment you hear it, it takes you back. You know the people that were there, you know what you were wearing, you know what you were feeling. It brings you back, especially when it's a song that's impactful for you. Well, as these planetary bodies are moving around, they're causing a concert, and our physical body's responding to it. Kind of like the same way when you go near somebody that raises you, that supports you, nourishes you, you feel good after that. And other people you go around, they drain you, they challenge you, and it's life sucking. There are frequencies that do this. And when something matches your frequency of difficulty, well, make sure you remember that it like accesses this brain file. But it's not just your brain. Every part of your body is responding to this. This is why we can literally feel life events changing. But if you don't know that there's a clock in the sky that basically can tell us what to look for and what to expect, if you're unaware of that, it seems like life is tossing you around. As I became more and more aware of it, and as I observed it in my patients, I could literally see my patients' challenges and wins, struggles and losses, all of it timed with these planetary events. And what's really awesome is that some of them are happening day by day, some of them are happening hour by hour, some of them decade by decade, and in this case, maybe hundreds of years, perhaps thousands of years since we've seen this alignment and where we're going to see it again. And so what is that? How does that impact our life today? Does it impact? This has to do with, well, I'll say karma. And your definition of karma may be slightly different than what I'm holding. In fact, I know there's different definitions of it out there. And so I'm talking about the happenstances, the circumstances that seem to come about of fortune and of failure, of challenge and of great opportunity. They seem to come around in certain patterns. And what I ask you to consider is all of it is for your good, number one. But each is an opportunity to level up to a greater place. And so what's been showing up in your life that's successful, that's engaging, that's moving forward in great ways, will keep on doing that. The things that are shown up as challenges may, yes, be calling you to move in different directions, but number two, at a minimum, is causing you to evaluate yourself in the role of your own actions and your own thoughts. Because thoughts turn to things. Thoughts are things at that more foundational level. And then with the momentum of those thoughts, the momentum of that into physical form brings it into physical reality. But thoughts are things. And so that is really the next level of a subtle, important level of learning about why anyone keeps bringing about certain situations, and why one can break free and shift into greater places, learning better things. And I invite you to consider what you expected or what you wanted may be different than what is really being called for. So it's a time of reevaluation as well as action. Each opportunity is that. So I'm getting pretty getting into the flow there, and so hopefully you're getting some value. If you've gotten some insight, if you like the conversation, what you're doing, give a thumbs up, make a comment, share it with a friend that's interested in the conversation of energy, frequency, vibration, of personal growth, of manifesting your reality. This type of person is going to vibe with this conversation. If someone's interested in the astrology and the astronomy and space and natural law and spiritual, this is the kind of conversation that we're sharing and helping people learn how to apply these esoteric sciences in their life for daily embetterment, which has a positive rippling effect outward for themselves, but also anyone they interact with. I learned this from Stephen Covey. I learned this from Napoleon Hill, and I'm looking to do that in my life in greater and greater, more simple ways, and noticing where I'm still needing to work myself, but also noticing where I've come along in the journey of personal self-mastery, which in turn brings about the peace in life that we're looking for. That I don't know what you're looking for exactly, but ultimately I'm sure good things. That's the belief I hold. That's the nature. That's the expectation I hold of all people. There's something within them that inherently they want good for themselves and for the world. Not everyone is that way. There's a percentage, of course, but that's the general tone in which I'm holding moving forward, and that we can go create a better reality. So I invite you to do the same. If you like that vibe, give a amen to that. So I'm going to pull up the chat, see if anyone's commenting. All right, here we go. So let's pull up the book, because what's been happening the last couple weeks for each of us is we have been shown where we have been our own worst enemy. And this is page 81 of the book. And if you want to get access to this book, go to drkevintransformations.com or drkeving.com. That's DR, the abbreviation for doctor. And you can get access to the free gift introduction, and you can learn the basic concepts of this. And what I love about this book is, I'm on page 81 here, but in the back, I created a very friendly appendix that gives some of the connections between the emotional self and the physical body. And so one of the strategies I do in my one-on-one coaching, the group coaching, And even some of the things we do on the live webinar I have on Monday nights after this is we help people translate this map into applying the techniques that I share in my office and virtually, remote healing and things of this nature, the coaching programs, and for example, stomach. Now, if you had a map of the meridian system, you would see what a stomach line is along the face and then how it goes along the physical body. And when there's something along that line or connects to that physical body part where that line is activated, you'll notice that oftentimes there's a pain there when one of these topics about, well, let's take a look at the topics, about receiving proper resources. It's interesting. I tell my patients that don't play poker with me. I'll win every time. I'll know your tells. It's almost a automatic response. People will scratch their face at the meridian associated with specific emotions. And for this instance, people will scratch right near their face, just like that. Right on that cheek spot right there. And that's part of the meridian. And when I know there's an issue around that topic, essentially how to receiving proper resources for your intentions, think about the metaphor of digestion, an idea, or digesting an experience, or finding a situation hard to digest, or feeling a situation is disgusting. You'll see that this energy, where the meridian travels, there can be a blockage and upset, causing and relating physical ailments that are detectable in an examination or in some type of blood work or whatever it may be. The physical body does make it so. Mind does regulate matter. But also vice versa. It's a two-way street and seems to be an ever-expanding two-way street. So let's go back to page 81 here, and we'll talk about the content for tonight about stop being your own worst enemy. And so the reason I picked this topic tonight, well, number one, I flipped to it. I just let Divine talk to me about where we're going. But what's been showing up for everyone is where we are being our own worst enemy. This is what is showing up for everybody in their life. And it's like as one person will put it, a shattered reality. Things that you expected to be true, things that you expected to go a certain way, did not. An outcome, a expectation, a belief, something you wanted to have happened, but it blew up, so to speak, in certain ways. How we choose to respond and how we do respond lays the track for a success, meaning you've handled it in a better way, and maybe you handle it in a better way, but you still have some karma to work through. You handled it all the way, you've done with that, you can move on to the next thing, or you're going to be repeating to some extent over and over again that same exact thing based on how you handled it. However, with that being said, life shows us where we're our own worst enemy. This is where, well, things happen. So let's read here. You want to start observing yourself in automatic behavior that brings on strong emotions like frustration, anger, and short-temperedness. Pay attention to how you react when things do not go your way and how you speak to people who are closest to you. And I invite you to consider how you're speaking in your mind to others, even if you're not verbally speaking. That moment is the most important territory. Now, there's a couple things I've come across recently, some mentorship I've had recently, but also there's a tried and true way of getting more awareness to your thoughts. And I call it the monkey mind exercise, where you basically are listening to the thoughts and particularly you're observing where there's a negativity, a self-doubt, a self-sabotage, a low worth commentary, it's impossible type of whatever. There's many different types of comments one is making to themselves, and this is going on throughout the day. And to observe what they are and to begin the process of reworking them, noting what they are and then reworking them. I go into greater detail in the group coaching and the one-on-one coaching, and of course in hands-on clients. If anyone wants more specific details, there is a way to get a hold of me. Just reach out, leave a comment, and I'll show you how to get a consultation time with me and help you break through that challenge. Now, that being said, what the challenge, what the problem in that whole process is, we can get stuck in the mind that's running the show, and that's not the truth. The mind is a tool we want to put to action, though. What is very common here in the West, and I fell prey to it, and I'm working on the nuances of it, is when the mind is running the show of life versus living into that flow of life. And that's a much more, as I've learned, joyful and positive place to be, but it's also a place where life is happening for me. Things are happening in much more beautiful ways, automatically good ways, and I'm experiencing a better flow in that life versus when I'm in the belief that my mind is doing all the work, and that's based on me, and that puts a lot of responsibility and a lot of heaviness, and that's where things go awry. When I think I'm the one in control versus where I'm participating in the outflow or the creation of life, but there's something greater at play, causing events to unfold in a different timing, and we can start to see this in the pattern and the movement of the stars. This is why today's so beautiful to have this conversation. However, it's not the be all and end all. There's still yet another force that regulates all of that. That's within us and around us and surround us. I sound like Yoda here. However, with that being said, it is the truth, and we can see that time and time again, and pretty much to my satisfaction in all the different cultures and religions and practices, traditional and otherwise, that I've put time in studying. So here we are changing, we are updating our concepts and perceptions about how life operates. And our human body, the automatic part, the part of us that is just flowing with life beyond the level of conscious, there's a beautiful rhythm to that life, and we do have some regulation with it, and we can change how our body works and operates. But learning to listen to this communication, learning to decode these messages, is what I wrote about in the book Decode Your Pain. And you can get a free gift version of an introduction to Decode Your Pain, where you get to hear about my story, how I overcame a number of challenges related to weight, related to personal addiction, related to physical trauma. And that story is just the first in an unfolding event of personal growth. And in the book, I wrote about inviting the next low, the next challenge, because I know it will lead to new heights. And I'm here to tell you, I'm on the other side of second really difficult times in life. Maybe even third, maybe even fourth. We could tell some tales someday. I welcome everyone to join me tonight at 8 p.m. We go live with Winning in Every Situation, where we're going over the laws of success. And tonight is, we're wrapping up the golden rule. We're talking more about the effects of the internal self affecting the external self. However, it's the other half of this conversation right here, right now. So I believe that, yes, that link is in the description, and I'll drop that right now for anyone who is still currently watching. I'll pull that up as we're wrapping things up. So look, if there's any questions, drop them right now. I'm going to drop the registration link for tonight. You'll get the immediate, if you register, you'll get the immediate link in your inbox of where to go and how to do that. And here it is. I'll drop that link right there. Boom, that's that. So I want to say thank you for joining in and participating, sharing, liking. Go to drkeving.com. That's drkeving.com. Take care of your eyes. Get the right water in your body. Get pure water in your body. Get some different affirmations. I created some I put in for people I've used affirmations with. There's like a number of different programs that are just really amazing about how to supercharge your subconscious to work for you, because this is what unfolds our life. And you can get on board with some of the programs that, number one, support this channel, growing research for holistic practices. Number two is get some products to support your life, and it's a win-win-win. Everyone is winning when you can do that from a website. And there's other things I have available, articles, there's free resources, there's some great audios there as well. Just flip around, click around. If you have a question pertaining to a specific health concern, you want to help address the cause of it in a holistic way, reach out to me, Dr. Kevin, and I will facilitate you getting answers regardless of where you're on the world. I have the ability to help whether I know someone in your physical location or using some remote work that I do, guidance and mentorship. So blessings and best regards. I'll see you on the other side, and thank you for your time tonight.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Kevin. This is first introductory video in becoming